Hello and welcome back to Heroes of the Mist, hosted by RPG Research, right on twitch.tv/RPG Research. This is part 2 for February 17th, 2019. I believe we're at episode 34, maybe 35, but I think it's 34. Excuse me. You'll learn more about the show at mistheroes.com. Learn more about the 501c3 nonprofit, studying the effects of all role-playing games and their potential to help improve lives at rpgresearch.com. And we are doing an Advanced Dungeons & Dragons first edition adventure here in the homebrew multiverse setting of Worlds of Beru. You can learn more about that campaign setting at beru.world. That's beru.world. I'm your host and game master, Hawk Robinson, with
John Wilker, Adam,
Katie Coonan,
Andrew the Barbarian,
Joe Coonan, no relation.
Fibbing. And behind the scenes we have Dan helping with the electronics and the artwork, and remotely we have Pyro helping with the moderation of the Twitch chat room and such, and Twitter, etc. We're all volunteers here, and we're trying to illustrate just the average experience of a tabletop role-playing game, just having fun and enjoying, showing people how to do it. We use just regular paper and pencil and dice and whiteboards and battle mats and things like that. Though we're using computer tech to broadcast, we're not using computer tech and other fancy things to play the actual game, so that you guys get an idea of how to play it at your own house with your friends and such.
Yep, we're just Cheetos and Mountain Dew here. None of that.
Cheetos!
None of that crazy Code Red or flaming hot Cheetos. We're old school here.
So when we last stopped for the break, the group here finished talking to the Druid Elder Council, shared a lot of information they needed to know. They shared a little bit back, and you were quickly gathering up silver and trying to find somebody to melt down the silver to turn into sling bullets.
Moisha was trying not to have a breakdown.
Yep. And after you have helped with gathering the stuff, one of the female elderly druid is going to come up and talk to you very consolingly and such, and just offer a shoulder to cry on if necessary, but at least someone to talk to and such privately. So that will happen during that time. So meanwhile, we had stopped the action once again, cliffhanger, for the little gnome Talk, the illusionist gnome who was looking for...
He's actually pretty big for a gnome.
For a gnome. How tall is he?
He's a little gnome.
Let me see, 42 inches.
Okay, yeah, he's pretty big for a gnome. So you had found in the swamp section of the Druid's Gate area, you had found, with a boat and everything, this big giant mud wattle multi-story thing with magical lights in letters saying Tathar the Magnificent.
Flash.
Yes.
Flash.
You'd gone in along this long corridor, you knocked on the door, it echoed, you called out, it echoed when you said the last part of his title, and then the door clicked open, and then with a boom against the wall, the smell of a laboratory assailed your nostrils, but just darkness within, and clearly a large chamber within, and you had stepped in. Now you have infravision. So you have to switch modes. So you switch back to infravision as you come out of the torchlight from the hallway, or the simulator. Actually, it wasn't real torchlight. And you come in, and yes, you see a huge laboratory. It looks like it's about 150 feet long by about 200 feet wide. So beyond your infravision, but you're just gauging, from some reflections
Then again,
and
this
such
guy
in
is
there.
an illusionist.
So who knows? The ceiling towers above you into the darkness. So beyond
on a stool.
And rows upon rows of books and files and vials and just all kinds of things that you would expect to find in an illusionist's lab. And again, the smell of all these chemicals and old book and dusty smells and rotting materials and just all kinds of things assail your nostrils as you come in. And rows and racks of stuff. Mm-hmm. No lights. You do see some lamps and stuff hanging here and there, oil lamps and such, but none of them lit. And you think you hear somewhere in the distance that way to your left a little kind of clicking, random clicking sound, just kind of.
You're just gonna keep doing that until he does something. Okay. It just wasn't clear. I was like, stop. Okay. Talk steps further in.
Okay.
I've heard tales of your magnificence. I'm here for the Druid Festival, and I was hoping that you might allow me to train with you while I am here.
All of a sudden, hovering above you, about 10 feet in the air, is an old, wizened face with a long beard, kind of humanoid face, looks down at you. Yeah, just the head floating above you, about 10 feet up. Yes. But a long beard and everything, looks at you and... What do you want? And it echoes through.
I wish to greater my skills as an illusionist by learning from your magnificence.
Magnificence,
Tathar.
magnificence, magnificence. Echoes.
Assuming you are Tathar, the Magnificent.
Magnificent, magnificent, magnificent.
Talk to make a mental note of that. He's gonna come up with a descriptor for his attached to his name and get a constant echo spell on it.
I am he. What do you expect of me?
I expect. Well, I expected you to look less like a human for one thing, but more.
And I expected you to be taller.
Fair point. Although I'm told I'm actually quite tall for gnomes. I'm not sure if that's actually.
What do you expect of me?
I expect that you will consider allowing me to be a temporary apprentice.
How temporary?
How long is the festival?
You got about 6 days left.
Long enough to learn one.
5.5 days.
Little less than a week. I know that's not nearly enough time to take in all of the magnificence of you and your wisdom and magic, but I thought if I could at least obtain the smallest percentage of your magnificence
Magnificence,
for
magnificence.
myself.
And I did do it before. I just,
Yeah.
sorry, I was...
That even with that minuscule amount of your power, I would leave this place greatly enhanced.
And what would you give to me? Why should I spend my time on you?
Well, you might be bored.
Never!
I thought that perhaps one as impressive as yourself might be interested in a challenge. the challenge of taking someone so unworthy as I and managing to take someone so unworthy and manage to allow him to leave here in a short time.
No. You want me to teach you? You will take the time I want you to take, or you can leave now.
Very well. I am more than willing to do some sort of correspondence training, perhaps?
No.
And I am also willing to return here to further the training once my current honor-bound quest is...
Show me what you can do. Where are you in your training? Where do you think you could be in this short time with me? You can use your level titles if you want, because that's what they're for.
Okay.
You don't say the number level, you say the title. You want to give him a player's handbook so you can show him the illusionist?
I've got it.
Well, do you know the titles of where you want to be?
Well, I want to get to the...
Well, because you've got your current level and then your experience points that you've earned for level.
Yeah.
So aren't there like 2 different levels difference or something? Or
no, just
okay.
one.
Okay.
Just one level.
So long as you know both titles.
It's minor trickster to trickster.
Okay, so you can use those titles.
Okay. I currently am merely a minor trickster. But I believe I have put in the time and effort that I may be ready to begin learning to be a less minor trickster. A trickster.
The head comes zooming in at you, like huge, oversized, like 8-foot head. It come up to you like this close. And looking at you. You do you?
I hope that in your infinite wisdom you would agree with me, but of course you are the experienced one and therefore must be the judge.
You're right. Pulls back a little bit. Show me what you can do.
All right.
It's goose time.
I have the best cantrips. Everybody says so.
Let me see here. Okay, I guess I will do color spray. First level spell.
Okay.
That's the one with the I spoke wrong. I mean color spray. That's the one I want.
Okay. And it does what?
No, that's not the one I want. I wanted. I'll do dancing lights.
Okay.
That's the one where I can make a that I did in our first episode to make a humanoid dancing figure of light similar to a elemental from the plane of fire in appearance.
So you can make 1 to 4 lights which resemble either torches and or lanterns, or glowing spheres of light, like will-o-the-wisps, or 1 faintly glowing, vaguely man-like shape, somewhat similar to that of a creature from the elemental plane of fire. And then it can move as you desire, forward or back, straight or turning corners. without concentration upon such movement by you. The spell will wink out if the range or duration is exceeded. So, and it's 2 rounds per level, and 4 double quotes plus what? So, in this case, 40 feet plus 10 feet per level. You can go ahead and cast that.
Yes.
And what light? So, humanoid shape.
Yes.
And what do you have it do?
I have it do a sort of ballet.
Okay.
And I try and I actually try and recreate from my memory a ballet performance I saw once.
Roll your intelligence.
Okay. I failed by 3. 18 over 15.
All right. So you cast it successfully. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
But it blunders around like a hippopotamus trying to do a ballet.
Hey, one of the most deadliest mammals on the planet.
Fantasia?
Yes, but not the elegant one. The clumsy one. So it starts bouncing off of things here and there. Now, of course, it doesn't have any physical matter, so it doesn't cause any harm, but it, kind of bounces around like a pinball in a pinball machine. Just bing, bong, king, bong. But you see the face watching to see and looking back at you, and it looks like you need some practice on that one, little one.
Yes, I do. It's been a while since I saw that particular ballet. I'm gonna have to rewatch it again when I
Do you
have the chance.
wink it out or just leave it there bouncing around?
I'll leave it there bouncing around.
Okay. So he's looking at you, but you see him keeps getting distracted as it bounces into something else or through something else, what have you, and he gets a little distracted by that, keeps looking over at it every now and then.
I seek to use my illusions to not only help my friends and the innocent that I may come across, but also to entertain them and to entertain multitudes, that I might one day find the land I was born in.
I don't care about that.
Well, I just thought I'd...
What are you going to do
fairy dust there for a
to raise the appreciation for our profession?
Oh, see there. I plan to show performances of grand scheme before all the people of the world, if I possibly can.
You're going to waste all this magnificent power just entertaining audiences? He looks at you with disgust.
And royals, while also using my powers to protect those I come across from attack, while also simultaneously proving that illusionists are just as good, if not better, than other mages.
You don't need to prove such a thing. It is well known.
Perhaps, though there are...
What is your dream of your greatest spell to attain or to create? Or have you no dreams? Have you no imagination? Have you no desire for glory of power?
Glory, yes. Knowledge is what I seek more than power, which I know is power, so I guess I kind of seek power as well, I guess.
Enough! You ramble too much.
I'm sorry, I am...
Enough! I'm sorry is enough.
Yes. I'm sorry.
If you want to apprentice to me, you will stay for as long as I say you will stay, or I will not waste my time with you. And you will not jibber-jabber all the time incessantly, do you understand?
Yes.
Excellent. Look behind you. So you turn to look. Hanging upside down on the wall, looking at you, is an over 7 foot tall, huge insect hanging upside down, looking at you with its big eyes, just, inches from your face. So you look over, and it's hanging from the ceiling. Big, giant praying mantis humanoid shape, looking at you with its...
How big giant?
So the body is over 7 feet, and then it's got the big praying mantis legs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But just a little bit.
I'm only 6'7". So it's got another, half a foot. Mm-hmm. So, plus those long, legs and such. So it's hanging off the wall upside down with its head right there. Mm-hmm. And it has a mouth big enough it could eat your head in one bite easily. So it looks at you.
As great of an illusion as that visage was, this is the image of greatness that I anticipated upon seeing before me
That's enough.
Tathar the Magnificent.
You must learn to not talk so much. Make your point quickly.
You're awesome.
Better. Now then, I have solution for your time problem. There is space here in the gate where time travels and moves differently than outside.
I see.
What you desire requires weeks of intensive training.
Naturally.
And I will not be short with that.
And I appreciate your generosity.
Understood.
Understood.
Good. Do you swear your allegiance to me?
Yes, but
as an apprentice.
Okay, all right. Yes.
I already know of your mission.
I do swear my allegiance to you as an apprentice.
Good. Now, give me a piece of your hair. Quickly.
All right. I pull my dagger and
Okay.
drop a little.
Okay, one of his multiple arms reaches out and snatches it away, sticks it in a little pouch at its side, finishes walking down and now stands over you, towering, looking down at you, but now at least right side up.
I wonder if perhaps in your travels you have heard of my former master, the dragonborn illusionist Beltran Draparax.
No.
Well,
you get the feeling that that was not what he said. You're hearing the translation of his illusion. Mm-hmm. You're getting the feeling that got edited.
Mm-hmm. He found me when I was lost and young. And
I don't care.
excellent.
You ready to work now?
Yes.
Good. See that mop there? There's
Yes.
a mop against the wall. See that bucket over there?
Yes.
Fill it. Mop the floors here. And he climbs up the wall, goes up out of sight.
Mm-hmm.
You notice the floor is actually fairly dusty. No footprints except your own.
All right. Well, he was hoping that since he was up to second level now, he would be past the mopping stage.
Yeah.
But
getting a little above your pay grade there.
Yeah.
We all wish we were past him.
Well, and you're not in the temporal time area yet either, so.
Yeah. So, Talk takes up the
way too big mop and way too big bucket.
And the bucket.
And you see an area where a cistern, interior cistern that you can fill it from, which makes it even harder to move. There's no wheels or anything. It's just a big, huge bucket that you could fit yourself into. And
just cast an illusion of a clean floor.
What could possibly go wrong?
That would be like a 50-50 gamble there.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you could try to go through his books and try to find a spell that would do the mopping for you. What could possibly go wrong?
Speaking of which, as he works, he hums to himself.
Yes, careful there. Yes, indeed. All right, so you're mopping the floor. All right, switching back. You're talking to one of the elderly female druids there, a half-elf and half-wood elf, and has been very consoling and understanding, and just being so friendly and kind and supportive, and just really giving you an outlet for all that you've been going through and experiencing, and being very compassionate about it.
I don't think I want to face Esther.
Yes.
But I need to go home.
Quick check. Can everybody hear her?
Oh, you forgot to put the... Yeah, turn that
Okay.
back on. There you go.
Sorry.
Because that's really...
I need to go home.
Yes.
But I can't face my dad.
And your work isn't done, is it?
No. I've made a commitment. I stand by my commitments.
But it's hard.
That's very scary.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting adventure to be this scary or hard. And all of the stories,
While you're
it's
there,
just
you feel
glorious.
something tugging at your pant leg,
I look around.
and you see a little ferret tugging at your pant leg.
Hi, ferret.
It kind of rubs around your leg. The druid looks down.
I pet its neck.
And, okay. It kind
Scratch
of
it.
rubs against your hand.
Hello there.
It then climbs up your pant leg very rapidly with its sharp little claws.
Ow,
scurries
ow,
out up your
ow,
leg,
ow,
and up onto your shoulder, and looks at you from your shoulder.
Hello.
Comes up and rubs against your face with its smelly but soft fur.
Thank you, I think. That's
It
very
is
sweet.
quite odoriferous, but very soft. It then wraps
You need a
around your
bath.
neck a few times. And the druid's like, no, that's their natural smell.
It still needs a bath.
It doesn't go away.
Unlike
That's too bad.
Even if you descent them, they still smell.
Yep.
Skunks, if you
Yeah,
descent
no,
them,
because this is the
if you
oils and
remove their-
such,
if
yeah.
you- If you remove their scent gland,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
are basically cats.
Apparently, it likes you.
Will it like Herschel?
Yeah, that you'll have to see.
Because
Most of our creatures around here tolerate each other. This is one from around here.
this is very sweet. But I don't want he and Herschel to fight.
Free weasel.
I think
Who doesn't want a free weasel?
I think I can help you with that. Is that
That's
Herschel
Herschel.
over there?
It is.
Do you mind if I talk to him?
Please help
Okay,
yourself.
so she goes on over, and Herschel looks up, and she squats down and starts talking into his ears, and he perks up and seems to be listening very attentively to what she's saying. looks at her, kind of tilts his head sideways, looks over at you, kind of tilts his head sideways.
Hey, Herschel, it's okay. It's okay. So, little fellow, what's your name?
Just kind of rubs up against you in a friendly fashion.
Do you want to come adventuring with us? It's kind of scary. But I'd be happy for more company.
Just kind of rubs against you.
And I'll nuzzle it back, even though it stinks.
Yeah. Other than that, it's being very friendly. All right. Torin.
Yeah.
You have gathered up silver.
All right.
Now what?
I go find the head watch guy.
Okay, you find the day watch.
Hey there, Tim. You got anyone that can do some blacksmithing?
They point you to a blacksmith who is on, because they still have to be on duty on the walls during their shift. So they point you to the local farrier blacksmith type who can help you with that.
All right then. I go find
And the blacksmith you talk to is happy to turn these into bullets.
All right. Then
How many silver pieces do you have?
Between all three of us, we had 60.
60. Okay. Do we have any idea how many silver pieces per bullet it's going to take?
One.
That's a big silver piece.
Well, silver piece is about the size of a 50-cent piece.
Yeah, but it's flat, and because the
Well, how many bullets do you want to make? You're not going to want to make 60 bullets.
oh yeah, I figured. Let's see here.
And you want to be reasonable of the blacksmith's time too.
Yeah. I don't know. Could you do up 20 maybe?
Or
Yeah,
30?
for an extra 10.
No.
So if you'll let him keep 10 silvers for his own use,
Oh, sure.
he'll make like what base. If you give him all of the silver, the 60 that you have, he'll make you 20, and then he'll keep the change. It's just silver. It's compared to gold. Yeah.
All right then. Oh yeah. So yeah, we can do that, and
Okay, we can have those ready for you by tomorrow.
fantastic. So that'll be 10 for myself and 10 for Farhawk, because I know he uses those.
There you go.
We'll have magic bullets.
Yep. Well, they're not won't be magic, but they'll be silver.
And they'll fight monsters.
Yeah. Yeah. So you'll have 20 of those the next day.
All right then. And I go back to Daywatch. I was like, so you want to have maybe some leather armor that fits?
They point you over to the armory and the master of arms over there. They've already been told to accommodate you guys as best as possible.
All right.
And so you get there, and there's a whole range from halfling size through very large human size, like very, very large human size, and a variety in between of leather armors.
Huh. So I'm poking through.
Bucklers and light wooden shields and things like that. You know, very little metal.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, druid gear. Lots of choices.
And this buckler, how big are we talking about? Bucklers?
Buckler's only like that.
Okay, the guy like
yeah,
that.
that's a buckler. You know, it buckles on and it just barely gives you anything.
All right then.
Oh, that's why it's called that?
Yeah.
So,
and then there's small shield. Like that. Just a little buckler.
Are we talking buckler as in the thing held in the hand takes a hand to be used, or buckler as in it's just it's
You
here?
can do either or.
Okay then.
It's meant to be buckled on.
Okay.
And used that way to keep a hand free. Ish.
Huh.
Read about the buckler. It describes an Unearthed Arcana.
Okay, Unearthed Arcana?
Yeah, that's where they introduced it.
All right then.
And you can also get a spiked buckler if you want.
Oh,
but that requires proficiency to use, and that's outside of your proficiency.
So I might snag on things.
Actually, no.
Swashing.
I don't know. Look up. I forget who gets. It's limited. It's limited access for the buckler proficiency.
Okay,
the spike
then.
buckler, but look it up. All right. So
someone else. I'll research this.
Yep, you're doing that. Windley.
I'm actually going to be approaching you.
Who?
Him.
Okay.
Torin, while he's doing
Trying on armor and stuff.
Trying his armor.
Okay.
So you get approached by a elf, very handsome.
Big broad brim hat with a big feather.
Yep.
Wow. How old are you?
I am 6-something. 6'4", and 160 pounds.
So you're stick.
Oh, I'm thin, but I'm an elf. So.
There. Wow.
Hail and well met.
You saw him earlier playing instruments and music and such.
Are you one of them Fae? Did you come through a portal? What's it like on the other side?
I'm actually from this area, my good friend. not this particular gate. I'm from Alta Edificium, if I'm pronouncing that right.
What now?
Alta Edificium?
I'll take your word on
The
that.
west up.
Alta Adititio.
Adititium. My character knows how to say that.
Okay.
And you appear to be getting ready for a quest.
Oh yeah, see, we's heading up north now. We've on this mission to find some sort of seer folk, because I'm not quite sure why, but
Clearly never heard
A
loose lips
seer,
and
you
ships
like
in this group.
diviner? And
Talk has, but hasn't done much to stop anything.
you wish to go on this quest, but you seem to be so, if you forgive me, I mean, even by elven standards, you seem very young.
well, I mean, I'm younger than I look. I mean, I'm pretty much a man in my hometown. I mean, I
How
go to
mad
town.
you say?
Yeah, I go to town my own. I can touch up the mules and everything. Yeah.
So you have had the coming of age ceremony then?
Do I now?
You had a ceremony for adulthood, did you not?
I mean,
Your uncle got you drunk that time.
I mean, are you talking about shooting whiskey hill? You can't stand straight? Because I've done that once.
No. That is not a thing an adult does. That's a thing that somebody stumbles into a bar does. That's no indication of age.
You've
or
known
maturity.
plenty of adults in your town who did that regularly.
That was just every day.
Yeah, you're an adult now. Get away drunk.
I think that perhaps you should participate in the coming of age ceremony. Become a real man before you do your journey.
Give you the Santai. And what goes into this here ceremony?
Have you ever been hunting?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, that's the first step.
Where you hunt?
Oh, any of the normal animals. Bring a rabbit, a pheasant.
See, quick question here. Since we're currently, in this nice sanctuary of the Druids.
Basically preserve.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't they take offense of you, up and killing anything up in here? Because I'm pretty certain that they'd take offense of that. I mean, they gave me the crooked eye just because I said I slapped a monkey against a tree. That would bit me.
Well, this is
It's
a
not a
druid
euphemism.
ceremony, and it is, by their rights. So we can ask if we're allowed to hunt within the gate, but if not, you can always take the hunt outside the gate. I prefer if they let you hunt outside the gate for just.
Well, I know they ain't open the gate anytime soon. I'm picking through armor. But what's this up with you? Why do you want to be performing some ceremonies on me? I mean, no offense, miss. You seem nice enough.
To be perfectly honest, I have 3 reasons.
Uh-huh.
1, it would be of great benefit to you. 2, as newly into the druidic arts, I'm frankly looking for any excuse. And 3, it would be a great benefit to your companions on your journey if you were a little more safe. Because there are side benefits to having, by benefits to your party is that by my good deed, perhaps you would be more interested in having me along as a companion.
You know that we're going up north and there's going to be all kinds of war and struggles and monsters and...
In other words, an epic tale.
Oh, yes, but I'm just saying that, I mean, I don't know if a musician is really meant for traveling the
I am
hard
a full bard, and all our stories are told, whether it's sung, acted, or just a verbose telling of this tale.
I love the irony of Torin saying that he might not be very useful. Please
if enough of us die, you
I want to
stack
see
them.
how this goes.
Torin has great potential.
Yes.
To be useful.
Yes. No, I just found
in the
that
next,
very...
in the next year or so.
Yeah.
So perhaps you'd be better on the quest if you left as a full adult.
Well, I am a full adult.
You haven't had the ceremony.
Well,
You're not an adult in the eyes of the gods.
Well, I have the blessing of court upon me, and if I wasn't an adult, he wouldn't have done blessed me.
Not necessarily.
Just a side note, you don't remember any such stipulation. As far as you know, you could bring kids into this, no problem.
Yeah, well, I'm just assuming.
Yeah, that's fine. I just want to make sure, yeah.
I am. Cord accepts worshippers of all ages. But for you to be a full priest, you'd probably be better to be an adult, would you say?
Well, here, mister. I appreciate your concern. And the thing is, I ain't gonna go hunting during this festival, because that sounds like a right dumb thing to do. I mean, look at them druids. I mean,
One of them who's cleaning armor looks up at you.
hey, if someone up and killed a, I don't know, a little critter around right now, that'd make everything mad, right?
It would depend on if you had permission and if it was for the ceremonies or not. If you have the blessing, sometimes it's part of the accepted
Like the goat?
culling. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But doing so without permission, potentially killing a sacred or intelligent animal here, could have very dire consequences indeed.
So definitely ask permission first.
Alright, now here's the thing.
Goes back to cleaning armor.
If you can go up and talk to Farhad, and he says it's fine to go come along, and probably wants you to sign a contract or something, then we can go ahead and go on this and talk to a druid now. But, you know.
I do want to be clear on your clarification. In order for you to participate in the adulthood ceremony, I'd have to get Farhad's permission for me to join your quest.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And we have to see about talking to a druid and making sure it's all right. If there's an animal they want to go get harvested for some ceremony, and I can go and does it. And
I think we can definitely accomplish that.
All right, then. But
Well, I will go talk to Farhad and see if he is your leader then.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, what's your name again?
Oh, I am Lindale Scelifolium, to use my Latin name.
All right.
Latinius.
Latinius name.
Hey, you know, a
Because
whole
it's
bunch
not
of
true Latin, so Latinius.
It's like pig Latin.
Bastardized.
There are no kids in
Beyond
my family.
vulgar.
Except my cousin Ed. But that's because he
It's so that people don't critique my bad Latin grammar and such. Like, this is a multiverse. It's a distorted version.
It's evolved independently.
Exactly. Yeah, I had to take Latin back in 3rd and 4th and 5th grade and such in school, and I've forgotten much of it, but
This version of Latin has no genders or conjugations.
just keep it nice and simple. Yeah, we don't have to do the Monty Python Life of Brian graffiti conjugation correction of Romans Go Home.
So, in that case, I will seek out Master Farhad. Which one is he?
Oh, he's the kind of smarthy looking fella that's about half naked anytime he can.
Smartly half.
Yeah, kind of that dark skin, what they have in them sandlands, the iridium.
Oh, it's an Iridian.
Yeah.
That narrows it down a little bit for me.
Quite a bit.
The half naked part was not narrowing
Didn't
it
narrow
down.
it down to this group. Not at this time.
Actually, the half naked kind of.
No, not yet. That's later. That would be more distinctive. Yeah. So Farhad, what are you doing?
I'm napping.
You're napping. Okay, where in the barracks?
I haven't slept all night.
Yeah. Are you napping in the barracks or just plop down on the
Yeah.
grass or what?
No, I went to the barracks.
Okay. All right.
So Moisha wants to go get leather armor when
Okay.
appropriate.
And by the way, you can thank
Yes,
Papa
6 days
Voodoo for
left.
the ferret.
Thank you, Papa Voodoo. Moisha needed another friend.
Yeah, one of the audience members spent hero points to send you that their way. See, they're not always trying to make things more difficult for you guys.
Thank you, Papa Voodoo.
Sent a nice little cuddly but smelly ferret. He didn't mention the smelly part, but
That's what
But ferrets are smelly.
yes. I almost did a parrot like Toto and Kodo, but that's maybe a little much.
I love
He
Toto and
smells-
Kodo.
Kodo and Kodo.
Or Toto, Poto. Okay, yeah, I forget which, but yeah.
I played a kender with a pet ferret once.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're fun little critters.
Which stole more?
That's a draw.
Okay. Depends on the. Actually,
Vikander never stole.
no.
It was always for safekeeping.
Yeah, and borrowing, you know.
To keep it safe, because there's really dishonest people out there.
Yeah, and then.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. This is a family heirloom.
Yes. Okay.
Somebody's found.
So, is the kindly druid woman finished talking to Herschel, and
Yes.
have we gotten
And
that
Herschel
all
has
sorted
come on
out?
over and is looking up at your ferret expectantly. The ferret's looking down at him.
Ferret, this is Herschel.
Looks at
Herschel, this is Ferret.
Looks at the ferret, scurries on down your leg. Whoa. If you were in your armor, it'd be no problem, but in your light clothes.
So be nice to each other.
Noses up to Herschel, and Herschel noses up, and they kind of touch noses and pull back a little, sniff each other, do a little more sniffing of various body parts, and Herschel kind of does the friendly thing. So
Good.
Seems to be okay.
Okay, guys, it's time to go get some armor.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right, so you start walking. Herschel follows you obediently. Ferret is running up the back of your leg, and up on your shoulder, like that.
Okay.
And there at your ear, rubbing against your ear in a very friendly fashion.
I lived in a house with one roommate who had a ferret and another roommate that had a dachshund. That is not a good combination. Dachshunds, along with things like corgis and stuff, were designed to dig into weasel and foxholes and ferret out such animals.
Yes, indeed.
And
That
kill
would be a
them.
rough combo. Indeed.
Yes, it caused a lot of household drama.
Yeah.
So
right.
when we get
To the armor.
to the armory, I would like to get Herschel some leather armor.
Okay. As you come into the armory, you see Torin trying on some armor and this big-hatted fellow.
Hello, Torin. Who's your friend?
Oh, hey there, it's a...
And there's a druid over in the corner cleaning armor.
Let's see how we got.
It is Linda Land.
Oh, this here's
Stellafolium.
Lindalay.
Stellafolium.
Stephonium.
Stella.
Stellafolium.
Folium.
Stellafolium. See? Got it.
Hello, Stella.
He says he wants to join us on our quest.
Stella!
Okay.
He's a
Musician.
musician.
So I can make a joke about
I guess he
Linda.
wants to make a poem.
Well, okay.
I said if he can, get past Farhad, then, I don't care.
He'll probably need to sign a contract.
Probably.
I am literate. I can definitely handle a contract.
Is it this fellow over here I need to talk to about the armor?
Oh, yeah, him? Yeah. He
Okay.
said...
Looks up at you. Yes.
Hello, sir. They told me that
Come
you
closer.
could, I walk up and bring Herschel and
Take it easy.
say, they told us that you could help us with armor.
Yes.
I would like some leather armor for myself and something for my dog to protect his sides.
Afraid we don't have anything for your dog.
We have some ferret armor, though.
And I don't know if I have anything quite stout enough for your build, but I think we can
He's
figure
only
something
150
out.
pounds.
No, but your dwarf build is different than elf, human, halfling. It's just but it is.
Yeah.
But I think maybe we could
Yeah.
piece something together. But let's try this. So he goes around. It's going to take a little bit of doing to find the right combination because otherwise,
you
it could be
can't-
wide enough, could be too long, etc.
Remember the scene from the Two Towers where Gimli's trying on...
Yeah, shink all the way to the floor.
It's a bit tight across the chest.
I wish we could do something for Herschel, too. I'm nervous about Herschel getting an arrow in the side.
Yeah,
Do you have any leather that I could make something for
Do you have
him?
leatherworking as one of your skills?
I'm a tailor.
Yeah, but do you have leatherworking?
I don't
That's
know.
a specific skill
That's
set. It's a proficiency
No, I don't have it.
or a secondary skill.
No.
You would need to ask one of them to do it.
Okay. Could you make something for him? That would just go over his head and tie under his belly.
Calabar might.
I could pay.
No, that's not how we are here. I'll talk to Calibor. He's getting on a bit. I think he's over 90 and a human. This one's a half-elf.
Okay.
So he's getting on quite a bit. His eyes are not what they were, and his grip is not as what it was. But he made half the armor in here. I'm sure he could make something if he could be talked into it. But he's...
Well, I could...
Yeah.
If
Can I
you
just
don't mind, I
interject
could
that
ask him.
Torin got conned. If what you just told Moisha was right. Like, that's not our way. We don't get paid for things. It's like, I'll keep that 40 silver and give you.
Well, but he can use it.
Yeah.
The silver is a useful. It has all kinds of magical value.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, he could have insisted otherwise, but oh well. And each individual is going to be a different individual.
I just thought
you should probably ask him directly. I would rather not.
Okay.
He'll be at tonight's festival.
Okay.
You can't miss him. He's basically walking bones with a beard to his ankles.
And that's like half the guys over there.
Well, I mean literally to his ankles. He often doesn't need a robe.
Okay.
That knocks in my head.
Could we see, in the meantime, what might fit me?
Yeah, and so he'll help you with that.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I've tried on a size of leather armor that looks fit, and I'm toiling with like the buckler and how it keeps the hand free and moving around. It's like, hey, you got anything like maybe a bit lighter, so it's still easy to climb and move around and whatnot?
Here's a paper plate.
Not really. Not in our normal armory.
Wait, there's an abnormal armor?
Well, we have the special armory for the officers.
Ooh.
This is for the non-officers.
Oh. So there's no chance to take a look in there, huh?
Well, they didn't say not to. But that's above my rank.
I don't want to pass your none. Get you in
You'll
trouble,
have to go over to the officers' armory and ask.
Oh, y'all do weapons or nothing around here?
We have a fair number of weapons, yes, down at that end of the hall.
Oh, I'll go look there.
Okay. Basically, anything if it's a druid weapon, if it's allowed to be handled by a druid,
Okay.
the armor and weapons will be here.
All right.
Druids have pretty limited sets, so you look at the player's handbook. There's a list of all their weapons that are allowed. There's a whole summary listed at the beginning,
Yeah.
and that'll tell you what's available.
A quick question. So, mechanically, is there something difference between bucklers and small shields? Like
Yes, there's a significant difference.
What is it?
It's in the Unearthed Arcana.
Alright.
Unearthed Arcana explains it's under the weapon. You have all the equipment descriptions.
Yeah, because I found
And there's a buckler specifically.
and I found stabby buckler.
Yeah, spike buckler.
And the spike buckler only says that if I can choose to make an offhand attack with it, -2 penalty.
Right.
I'm not sure, is that just a -2, or do you have is there more minuses for using offhand weapons?
I thought there was more information than that.
And then this is it just says that during any melee round in which the shield is employed, it is small and protects the user against but one opponent of the user's choice during any melee round in which the shield is employed. It is small and easy to carry, strapped to the arm, making it able to be used by bowmen and slingers.
Yep.
A small demi-human or halfling uses it as a small shield.
Yep.
So
For you, it's a buckler. It's not a small shield.
So it'd just be a -1 to my AC against one opponent in combat.
Right. Yeah. You have to be selective.
All right.
You have to say, I'm using it on this one at this time.
And is that only against melee attacks, or if I have that and I have a ranged attack, does that count as
Does it say? I think you can say if you know you're being attacked, you can hold it up.
You see the arrow coming, you can try to block.
Okay, because it says melee, but then I'm like, well, the shield says something else, and it says melee too. So
okay, if it says melee, then it means melee. Then it does not work against missile.
All right, because it doesn't say the shield doesn't have any distinction about using against missiles either.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, normal size shield can effectively be counted against 2 attacks per melee round.
Okay. Well,
So-
that's per melee round.
Okay.
That's different than melee attack. Parse the words very carefully. So that's a combat round. That's not saying a melee attack. So what does the
will
buckler
help
say?
for
Does the
your
buckler say
forward
melee
pass.
round or melee attack?
True.
During any melee round in which the shield
Oh, okay.
is deployed.
No, then you can go
It's a
ahead and
length
use
of
it.
time,
You can use it against a missile
Okay.
then. But you have to pick it. You have to be able to say, I'm protecting against that attack.
Okay.
And you can't be attacking that round with it.
Yeah, if I'm using the spiky.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Lindley.
Lindley, I am going to go make some strong green tea
Okay.
with the extra caffeine in it.
Okay. All right. I want to fast forward a little bit because we're getting near the end. I want to get us to a certain point here. So very rapidly, after you do green tea, what do you want to do?
After green tea, I want to introduce myself to
Farhad,
Farhad.
okay,
and
you're
offer
going to
the
wait
green
till he's
tea as
awake,
his-
or you're going to go wake him up?
I am going to wait patiently with the cup of tea for him to wake up.
Where? Like right at his bedside, or out outside the barracks, or somewhere in a bed next to him? Where do you want to wait for him? You know where he is. Where do you want to wait for him?
I will wait just outside the door so he wakes
Okay,
up.
of the barracks. Okay, so you're not going to be like creepily just sitting there. Hi.
Yeah, I want to encourage my
Yes.
senses to join
Okay,
the
good.
group.
Just wanted to make sure.
Farhad wouldn't care.
All right.
No, we probably wouldn't.
Just outside the door, playing bagpipes as loudly as possible.
All right. So Torn, you're doing your armor thing. Moisha, you're doing your armor thing, and the dog armor thing. Talk. You finish mopping.
I am not finished mopping until I'm told that I'm finished mopping.
Okay, so you just go back and mop again when you think you finished.
Well, you know.
Like you've covered the entire large chamber, the floor, everywhere under the. You did a very good job.
Mm-hmm.
Now what? From the ceiling, every now and then you hear a, but you can't see him. It's just darkness.
I have
above.
completed the floor in this room. Is there anything else you would like me to clean in the meantime?
Drops right in front of you from the ceiling. Lands.
Yeah.
Good job. Fine. Now, let's get you where time will allow your training. Follow me. And he takes you to the far, you came in one way, he takes you to the far end, and he mutters something, and the shelving slides to the right, and a large glowing portal way opens up in the wall. Step into there.
And you're following, right?
Never mind. I want you to dust all of these shelves. And he just jumps up and disappears into the darkness.
Starts dusting.
With what?
Your hat.
I look around for some tools. If not, I...
Okay, you look around, you eventually find some dusters and such.
Okay, I use that.
Okay. Many of these shelves are 10 feet high, where dust is the thickest. And there are no ladders. Because for him, 10 feet is no problem with his reach.
All shelves are ladders.
Potentially. What are you going to do? Easy enough to dust the bottom two shelves. After that, it becomes more challenging for you. And there's about, 30 rows?
Well, climbing and I have a complicated
Yes.
relationship.
Yes, they do indeed.
But I guess he would try and climb into anything, climb to any heights that he felt confident
Okay.
that he could.
Roll your intelligence.
The
character's intelligence.
And also, well, no, I'm gonna roll my intelligence.
Your characters.
And then perhaps
That would require an IQ test to establish that.
perhaps put together a pulley system
Yeah.
if need be.
How about a Rube Goldberg system for dusting the whole place?
9 under a score under an intelligence of 15.
Excellent. It occurs to you did see a large stool, weirdly shaped, but a large stool that might actually work as a ladder for you to at least get most of the way without having to climb the shelves themselves.
Okay.
Had some rungs in it that might, because you are nervous. Some of these shelves are a little bit like when they seem to sway a little precariously. Some of them.
Of course.
Yeah. So, do you want to make use of that stool? You won't be able to get to the very top, but you'll be able to get everything but the top of all the shelves. Then you have to deal with the top. Okay. It is going to take you hours to do this.
Naturally.
Yeah. Okay. So, Farhad, you awaken.
Starting to wish I'd taken some of the cleaning-based cantrips.
Yes, they're cantrips for a reason. They are there for a reason. Because how many times do apprentices get all the grunt work? And hey, maybe somebody was clever enough to make their life a little easier.
Or Mickey Mouse goes crazy.
Farhad, you awaken.
Yes.
It's close to evening. Sun hasn't set yet, but it's getting close to it.
Cool. I put on my sexiest Iridian traveling clothes.
Okay.
So, Iridian traveling clothes.
Get ready for the evening's festivities.
Okay.
I step out the door.
As you do.
My glorious wonderment.
As you do, you see someone waiting for you at the doorstep.
Hail and well met, fair Farhad. I do believe you drink tea. You see a 6'4" elf in purple raiment, very large hat, does a low bow while presenting a cup of green tea to you.
So we are eye to eye as a 6'4".
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
And you're full elven, right?
I'm full elf.
Yeah.
Hi, elf.
Farrah takes the tea. Is it still hot?
Yes.
How long is it cold yet?
It's been a few hours.
That's what fires are for.
Oh, you made a little fire. Okay. All right. It's a little smoky, but it's warm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smoke adds to the flavor.
Yeah. Cups in his hands, you know, the whole like warm smelling tea thing. Yeah.
Okay.
He enjoys tea.
I understand that you and your companions are about to partake on an adventure.
Oh, why? About to? We're almost halfway done.
Wow. I would love to hear about all of your tales and maybe journey with you on the other half so I can get first-hand account of your stories.
Well, it would be wonderful to have someone along to catalog and journal our tales. That would be fantastic. And I heard you playing music last night that sounded very much like a seabird.
Yes, I play very many different instruments. I'm currently proficient in the fiddle, the bull roarer, or dragon roarer, and the didgeridoo, and the baron, which is a
fantastic. Well, we would love to have help. We used to have a leader here in our party, but he left us to learn about strange things far away. He was more curious about learning things than about doing things.
And remember what he was most curious about? What species?
The high elves, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But Farrah doesn't share that.
I understand. I'm just making sure you remembered. Okay.
Yeah. No, he wanted to learn about the high elves and the wind jammers and the
cats and jammers.
Yep.
Didgeridoos, yeah. 10 high elf didgeridoos and didgeridon'ts. Number 7 will leave you amazed.
Use this one weird trick.
I do understand that you are the leader of this organization.
Oh! No, I'm not the leader. I'm just the one who goes in front and makes most of the decisions.
Leading the way by example. The best type of leader.
Well, I say I go in front because Torin's a boy. Ripper, as far as I know, she doesn't do things. We have a knight who be afraid of fighting anyone who's not tied up. We have a woman who is well, she's very important, but more useful after a fight. We of course have Moisha, who is one imagines is good in a fight. He's certainly good at finding camp. And then we have a little man who makes large ducks.
That is an interesting skill indeed. Now, speaking of which,
If you were to come with us, and I would love to have anyone extra who may be good in a scrap or two. First of all, we have to speak with the lady and, of course, her bodyguard. He's more there for looks. And secondly, of course, we would want to make sure we had a contract. Each of us has a contract for this travel, this adventure. We want everyone to be on contracts just so that we understand the expectations, the duties, and the remedies that we all have in common.
that sounds amiable. You mentioned the boy, and
Yes.
I do believe he is of age for the coming of age ceremony. He should become a man by now.
He can't become a man. I mean, he's never talked to a woman in his life.
There is a non-sexual ceremony involved. After that, then he's eligible to look for talk to a woman of his choice, or
he's
whoever he wants
he's
to talk
already
to.
a man. He's a priest of Cord. He doesn't need to memorize any scriptures or present anything at the temple. He's a full-blooded priest of Cord. What kind of adult ceremony are you talking about? It sounds unseemly.
Well, the druidic ceremony involves going on a hunt, bringing back proof of the hunt, and then being anointed. We can always do the anointment in the name of Cord. And then he would be considered a adult in the eyes of the community and of the gods.
He'd be considered a dolt rather than an adult.
Well, some people are more doltish than others.
And some are both.
I don't want to give these
I do like
the in-game statistical reasons for doing this, because
Yeah,
that's
I
ridiculous.
understand. Yeah, anyway, what was that, Joe?
I do like a hunt, and I do like oils. And, can't anoint things without oils.
Of course.
So you're thinking that the ceremony is going to give him the bonuses that he wants for making it into the next gradient of age? Is that what you're hoping?
Well, there's this coming of age ceremony, according to this, only gives him a +1 on his on a saving throw once in his lifetime.
Oh. Okay.
But it's a coming of age ceremony, it's a druid ceremony, and I will do druid magic.
Where did you find that?
On Earth Arcana.
I didn't know about that. Interesting.
Well,
okay.
Better to have and not need.
Sure,
than need and
yeah,
not have.
sure, yeah.
+1 bonus to a single saving throw, and it's the duration is permanent, well, in this case, until he uses it.
Oh, interesting. Okay, cool.
It'll be very soon from this campaign.
Yeah.
And Torin in general.
All right, let's hurry with your negotiations here. We've got 6 minutes left, and I got to inject some stuff.
So it is agreed. You will talk to your nobles and work over the contract, and I will initiate Torin.
Yes, there's no time to lose. I'll start writing the contract right away. And
You hear drums start beating.
Uh-oh, that's my cue. Matching the rhythm as I head towards the drums.
Yeah, the drums are starting to begin back in the ceremonial area. Torin, you found armor that fits you.
Okay then.
Did you want to go over to the officers' area? It's getting towards sunset. You can hear the drums starting.
I want to catch the show. This is supposed to be something awesome, so.
Okay, I'm gonna
I
head to
take
the...
off the armor so I'm not walking around all like.
Good. Okay, Moisha.
I'll take Ferret and
Herschel and go deposit my new armor in my footlocker.
Okay. All right.
And then go to the ceremony.
All right. Farhad, you hear the drums.
I'm writing a contract as fast as I can.
Are you writing it first, or are you going to take it with you and write there at one of the tables near the ceremonial area?
No, he's just gonna like
pound out some boilerplate.
Do I have any gold? Yes, I do. Fantastic. He's gonna just write a heading real quick for the contract, and then leave it on his bed, and then go out to the festivities because we have 6 or 7 more days.
Yep. All right.
Any time we write the contract.
Yep. Well, this is day number 2 of your 7 days, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have 5 days after tomorrow.
Yep.
But if you can't write a contract in 5 days,
yes.
Get a contract writing business.
Well, he was never really in the contract writing business, but yeah.
No.
All right, and talk. You finally finished dusting everything except the very top shelves. What are you gonna do about those?
I was just actually reviewing one of the spells that we recently agreed that I learned from Weevil.
Okay.
To see if it would help me at all.
Gust of wind?
No, Phantasmal Force.
It doesn't have me. Okay, so you're going to have it.
Psychic attacks.
Did you, I mean, is this something you've already memorized? Because just because you learned it doesn't mean you've memorized it today.
Well.
How many spell slots do you get right now? Is that a first level spell?
Yeah.
How many slots do you have?
2
okay.
levels.
And what did you have already allocated for today?
Well.
I was giving you a little leeway, but.
Yeah, I know.
That's okay. You want to do that? We can do that as your second spell slot.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if it would do anything with that.
Isn't Phantasmal Force a psychic attack as opposed to...
Yeah, that's something than Unseen Servant. I think you want Unseen Servant, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't got that one. I don't think that one works anyway.
Well, that's second edition. Why are you looking in second edition book?
Because what I got.
Well, we've got 4 players' handbooks
here.
Know,
but most of the spells aren't that much different.
There can be some real differences. So,
okay.
All right. Anyway, is that something you have, or is that going to work or not work?
No.
Okay. Not going to work. So what are you going to do?
He's gonna climb. He's got
roll
rope.
A dex check.
He's got rope if he can.
Okay. Well, the main concern is the shelves falling over.
Yeah. I succeeded by 1.
What'd you get?
15 under 16.
Okay. It is nerve-wracking and terrifying because on the ricketier shelves, it's literally swaying back and forth as you try to climb up and across as you dust everything off. And it takes about as long just to dust the very top as it took you to do all the rest. Mm-hmm. But you get it all done without knocking anything on the ground or shattering anything or summoning anything or what have you. And and you finish sweating and exhausted. Mm-hmm. What do you do?
I hope I have dusted to your satisfaction.
Drops from the ceiling in front of you.
I'm ready to enter the doorway with or without you following.
He snaps 2 of his 4 upper arms and points that way. He goes over, mutters something, the shelves slide across, the big, large, lit portalway opens, and he points and looks at you.
I
step into the light?
I march boldly through.
All right. And that's where we leave you. Now, meanwhile, you guys are back at the ceremony.
And
everybody's there?
Saw him again.
Yeah, everybody's there, right? You're all at the next ceremony. So they're doing a similar thing with the chanting and all that. But now the Fae that are already here are helping and participating. And they're all awake and buzzing around happily and such. And the portalways are starting to light up in the base of the trees and the ground like where you saw before. And pretty soon you start to see the shapes start to appear in the distance as they get closer. And as they get closer, there's something a little different about these Fae than before. It's a little harder until they finally start getting close to the door. But you see that all of the Fae, all of the portal ways, where their arms and legs would be, the ones that have arms and legs and such, have tentacles wiggling around. The arms and legs are all turned into tentacles wiggling around. And there's a blue nimbus around, or purplish nimbus around all of them. And their eyes look all dark and sunken. And there's a feeling of foreboding, and the druids start to look really concerned and start whispering amongst each other, and the drumming starts to break up a little bit. And even the Fae start making sounds of distress and worry as you see these hundreds and hundreds of Fae piling up at the doorway. Now, the doorway hasn't been opened yet, but you see them pushing against, and you can see the doors bulging and stretching as these Fae try to enlarge, and you see larger and larger creatures piling up behind, trying to force their way through, because they haven't opened. Remember last time there was a little pop and then they came in? They haven't done that part of the ceremony yet because they have to do the little sacrifice and such. But they're trying to force their way in. But again, none of them have arms or legs. They all have tentacles instead of arms and legs for those that did.
Blast Drake.
What's that?
Blast Drake.
Yes, you can thank Drake. You can thank another group for this bleeding through from the multiverse. So anyway, that's where we're going to leave that at. These warped Fae.
Quick, close the door.
Through into your multiverse. And we'll pick it up next week from right there. If you're not yet a donor to the 501c3 nonprofit RPG research, do please consider. We are studying the effects of all role-playing game formats and their potential to help improve lives, and we provide community programs helping people with ADHD, autism, at-risk youth, brain injuries, elderly, muscular dystrophy, a whole wide range of populations using role-playing games and music to help improve their lives. Swing by rpgresearch.com/donate. You can donate through PayPal. You can pick us on smiled.amazon.com as your charity of choice. So a portion of your purchases will be donated to us. Or you can become a Patreon supporter and get early access to videos, essays, and research content at patreon.com/rpgresearch. Thank you for joining us. We're here every Sunday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Time. And wherever you may be well, happy gaming, and namaste.
And dream well.
I ain't gonna dream well after this one.
Thank you, Papa Voodoo. I needed a ferret.
I want a ferret.
Joe?
They're not dead, but dreaming.
Thank you, Cthulhu reference.
Drake must have really loved crafting these.
Oh! And thank you, Pyro. Everybody, good night.
Good night.